Today is National Chocolate Day. Fun fact, studies show it can lower blood pressure.
Chocolate! Chocolate! Chocolate!
Indiana Jones! Fancy clothes! With my woes! I'm at Lowe's! Strike a pose! Spooky ghost!
Fear is a terrifying feeling that I am sure many of you are familiar with. Fear is the emotion caused by the belief that something is dangerous or threatening. Sometimes we become afraid of things that aren't necessarily scary to most people, like clowns. These types of fears usually come from trauma or an event in our lives that leads us to believe that these things are dangerous and scary. Here are some of Oil City High School's very own students coming forward to talk about their unique fears and what they believe these fears arose from.
Bugs on my toothbrush. Okay, no, listen though, because like, bugs on my toothbrush. Every once in a while you'll go into your bathroom and you'll see like a fly on the wall or like a spider hanging in like a light or something, and you just think like, okay, well, you know, you haven't been watching that fly or that spider this whole time. That bug could have been on your toothbrush.
My fear is that if I'm in the dark, I feel like I have to run. I am 16 and a half years old and I have to sleep with 4 nightlights.
My fear is when I go into the bathroom when there's no one else home, I have to open up the shower curtain to make sure there's no one standing behind it.
I guess it might have stemmed from that one time I was watching a TV show about this like Chinese woman that got like one of those earrings stuck in her ear, and then she had to have it like surgically removed, and that just terrified me.
For as long as I could remember, I was afraid of the dark, and as a kid that's normal, but I feel like as a young adult that's probably not very common.
When I was little, my aunt used to love the scary movie It, and ever since then I've had like this fear that he's gonna be like behind my window or in my shower or something.
These fears aren't the most common fears, but they are certainly horrifying to these students. With Halloween approaching, many of our fears must be faced and embraced for the spirit of the holiday. I hope all of you face your fears and have a happy Halloween.
Friday, the student body at Oil City High School had the pleasure of having a safe driving day. It consisted of 3 stations, a driving simulator, where we had to drive a simulated car through a course with either distractions or driving under the influence of alcohol. There's a presentation by Oil City firefighters where they showed us what they do in case of an accident where bodies are pinned inside of the vehicle. We also had the opportunity to sign a van which represents a pledge that we will never drive under the influence or drive distracted. The third and final station had a woman who presented to us stories about kids who were either driving drunk or driving distracted. We had the opportunity to interview her on the subject.
So I guess we'll just start off with some basic questions. Why are you here today, and your presentation, what exactly are you advocating?
I'm advocating safe teen driving because my son was killed 4.5 years ago in a car crash. There was a 16-year-old driver driving, and it came, I guess I came to realize that this is an epidemic that's hitting our nation, and without sharing my story, I'm fearful that other kids won't understand the necessity of driving safe and just focusing on safety.
Okay, what a good cause to be advocating. That's good that you're doing this. I'm assuming that you understand like the grievances and the feelings that come along with something like that. So is that why you would say it is important for kids to be cautious regarding reckless driving, impaired driving? I mean, what would you say, like what are the effects on a family of a teenager being in an impaired general car accident and losing their life, unfortunately?
It's devastating, to say the least, and it doesn't end for the family who was affected. And doesn't only affect my family, but it affects my community and Connor's friends. So it is just a ripple effect that just gets wider and wider. So it's not just something that happens on one day at one time. It's just something that goes on forever.
Would you say, I don't know the statistics, you might, but would you say that teens are more inclined to have impaired or reckless driving accidents as opposed to adults, middle-aged, older people?
They are, because they're inexperienced. And it's not that they're bad drivers, they're inexperienced drivers. So reducing distractions, reducing passengers helps to avoid that.
Okay. Thank you very much for your
Thank
time
you.
in the interview.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that, at least someone, I mean, it's unfortunate that you had to go through that to come to the actualization, but at least there was a good outcome.
October is National Bullying Awareness Month. We at What's Up Wednesday want to take action.
According to a national study, 80% of what is identified as bullying consists of name-calling and insults. So that's just words. The thing is, words can have a way of building up on us. And yeah, those words might stop. And yes, this water is going to dry off, but those insults, they aren't going to go away. They're tattooed into our memories. My question for you is, why is it so important for you to hurt someone? Why do you think it's funny to make someone want to give up?
What you've just witnessed is nothing more than a metaphor to a sad reality. Over half of teen suicides are related to bullying. Please, don't join the statistics. Talk to someone. Get help. A message from What's Up Wednesday, because we care.